in the same field, in the same land of Canaan that God had promised. His wife has died, they have not owned the land. We're going to have faith. We're going to trust in God's word. Abraham now dies. He says death doesn't change the promise. Death doesn't change the fulfillment, because it's not about me, it's about those that come after me. Bury me in the land. So Abraham is buried in the land. And then now Isaac dies. So infertile Abraham, God blesses him with a son, Isaac. And Isaac, he dies, having 2 children. This is the man that God promised to make his descendants more faithful and fruitful than the sand on the seashore. There is only 2 grandchildren. And now, the son of promise, Isaac, is also dying and dead. Genesis 35, 27 to 29. And Jacob came to his father, Isaac, at Mamre, where Abraham and Isaac had sojourned, and now the days of Isaac were 180 years. And Isaac breathed his last, and he died, and was gathered to his people, buried in the same place, in the land, because they had faith in the promise of God that one day, even though their bodies were as good as done, the God who is faithful would fulfill his promise in the land that he promised them. That they would have, as Genesis 15, 4 to 6 says, descendants in that land that are as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand upon the seashore. They died in faith, believing God's word. And Isaac has sons, Jacob and Esau. And Jacob is the line through who the promise comes. He's the one who is blessed. And Jacob has to go into Egypt because of a famine. Moves down there with his sons. That he's now in the wrong land. It looks like God's promise won't come to pass. Life is very comfortable for Jacob. It's not like Canaan where it's hard and desert-like and there's no food. No, life is good, life is wealthy, life is comfortable, there is status. And so Jacob dies in a foreign land, in comfort, not in the land of promise. And what does he request happens in Genesis 49, 29 to 32? And here's what Jacob says as he dies. Then he commanded them and said to them, I am to be gathered to my people, bury me with my fathers in a cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave in the field of Machpelah, to the east of Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with a field from Ephron the Hittite to possess as a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife. And there I buried Leah. The fields of the cave that is in it were bought from the Hittites. When Jacob finished commanding his sons, he drew his last breath, pulled up his feet into the bed, and was gathered to his people. So even though all the comforts around him, and he could say, do you know what, I'd rather just, life's easy, leave me here. No, I need to go back to the land of promise. The land that God promised our forefathers, the land that was promised to Abraham, that one day would be ours. And so, Genesis 50, the sons of Jacob do what their father asked. By faith, they're in a foreign land with comfort. And by faith, they take the body back. Here's what it says. And Joseph fell at his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. So the physicians embalmed Israel. 40 years were required for it. 40 days were required for it. Well, that is how many are required for embalming. And the Egyptians wept for him 70 days. A love man. And when the days of weeping for him were past, Joseph spoke to the household of Pharaoh, saying, if I have found favour in your eyes, please speak in my ears of Pharaoh, saying, my father made me swear, I'm about to die in my tomb that I hewed out for myself in the land of Canaan, there shall you bury me. Now therefore let me go up and bury my father, then I will return. And Pharaoh answered, go up and bury your father, as he has made you swear. So Joseph went up to bury his father. With him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of the household, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, as well as the household of Joseph, his brothers, and his father's household. Only their children, their flocks and their herds were left in the land of Goshen. And they went up with him, both chariots and horsemen. It was a very great company. And when they came to the threshing floor at Etam, which is beyond the Jordan, they lamented there a very great and grievous lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. When the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning on the threshing floor of Etam, they said, "This grievous mourning by the Egyptians." Therefore the place was named Abel Miriam. It is beyond the Jordan. So they crossed over into the land. Thus his sons did for him as he commanded them. For his sons carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the field of Machpelah in the east of Mamre, which Abraham brought with a field from Ephron the Hittite to possess as a burying place. After he buried his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, and his brothers and all who had gone up with him to bury his father. Again and again and again. Don't leave me in comfort in a foreign land under foreign gods. Take me back to the discomfort of the promise of God. Even though I will not see it physically, I will one day lay hold of it. What's going on? No matter how comfortable, no matter how loved, no matter how well his children had done in this place that could give them everything they needed, that is not it for Jacob, who represents Israel here. No. Take me to Canaan, to the tomb of faith. Now, we don't think of tombs in a place of faith. We think of tomb of where we're going to die. But these people know this was a place of faith, a mark in the ground. Because one day we will dwell here and God will fulfill the promise to Abraham. And then Joseph dies. Exodus 50, 24 to 26. Here's what he says. And Joseph said to his brothers, "I'm about to die, but God will visit you and bring you up out of the land to the land that he swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Then Joseph made his sons of Israel swear, saying, "God will surely visit you, and you shall carry my bones up from here." So Joseph died, being 110. They embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin into Egypt. Joseph knew that when he died, that one day God would be faithful, and that when God brought them into the land of promise, carry me with you. Faith. 430 years passed from when Joseph said, "Carry me with you," until God carried the whole of Israel out. 430 years. 4 centuries after that promise that Joseph made them make. Exodus 13 verse 11. God is now about to rescue his people from slavery. He's destroyed the gods of Egypt. They are preparing to leave by night as part of the Passover. And here is what we see happen. Exodus 13 verse 11. "And when the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to your fathers, and shall give you it, you shall set apart to the Lord all the firstborn that opens the womb." All the firstborn. Oh, wrong verse here. Let me find where I've gone. Bear with me. Yeah, 18 it may well be. Yes, you're right, 19. Thank you. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph made the sons of Israel swear solemnly, saying, "God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones with you from here." Just see the promise again and again and again, knowing that God is faithful. 600 years after Abraham bought that tomb in the land, 650 years since God promised to him when he was in a foreign land with foreign gods, God brought Israel out of the land for the people to inherit that which God had promised them.